we have now finished electrostatics. Now I will go to electromagnetics part. Electromagnetic field means whenever current flows in a conductor, a magnetic field is produced. This magnetic field is called electromagnetic field. Electromagnetic fields are classified into two categories: steady magnetic field and time varying magnetic field. Steady magnetic fields are produced by DC currents, whereas time varying magnetic fields are produced by currents that vary with respect to time. So first I will teach you steady magnetic fields, then this knowledge will extend further to study time varying magnetic fields. So we will start our journey into the magnetic fields produced by currents. So I am going to write now. The next is steady magnetic fields, same module, the other half I am teaching now. So I will put the heading steady magnetic fields. Steady magnetic fields. So we have finished 2.5 modules. Now I am getting into steady magnetic fields. From here you will have 2.5 modules: steady magnetic fields, time varying magnetic fields, and wave propagation. Very important to study the subjects like antenna and wave propagation, microwave engineering, etc. And tomorrow if you want to pursue your higher studies in RF engineering, this subject plays a very important role. And RF engineering is an area where lot of money is involved. For example, RF circuit design, it requires good knowledge of field theory and circuit theory. So circuit theory you have already studied. Now you will be fortifying what you have studied in circuit theory through the concepts of electromagnetic fields. Steady magnetic fields, I am going to write whenever current flows in a conductor, a magnetic field is produced. A magnetic field is produced. This magnetic field is called electromagnetic field. The electromagnetic field produced by a steady current. Steady current means DC current. Is called steady magnetic field. The magnetic field produced by time varying current. Is called time varying magnetic field. We'll now first focus on steady magnetic fields. To start with, in electrostatics we had Coulomb's law. Similarly here we'll have Biot-Savart's law. So first topic of steady magnetic fields is Biot-Savart's law. The Biot-Savart's law. Very, very important law. This is again an experimental law. Let me take a conductor. Let me take a conductor carrying a steady current of I amperes. Let us take a conductor carrying a steady current of I amperes. Let me take an elemental length. Let me take elemental length dl of the conductor. The product of I and dl is called current element. The product of I dl is called current element. This is the midpoint of dl. Midpoint of dl has a distance equal to r meters to point P. Point P is the point of interest where we have to find what is the magnetic flux density. So I am going to write now. Let a steady current equal to I amperes flow in a conductor as shown in the adjoining figure. As shown in the adjoining figure. Later, correct? Also, let dl represent a small elemental length of the conductor. A small elemental length of the conductor. The product I into dl, length is a vector, is called current element. In which form? Vector form. If you just write I into dl, it is also called current element, but in scalar form. The magnetic flux density at point P is vector dB is equal to mu times ideal cross AR cap. What is AR cap? AR cap is unit vector in the R direction. This is AR cap. And this vector AR cap is directed from the midpoint of dl to point P. This is vector dB. This symbol indicates vector dB is into the plane of the board or into the plane of the page. Why it is into the plane of the page, I will explain with respect to right hand rule slightly later. Cross AR divided by 4 pi r square. Unit of this is Webers per meter square or Tesla. Tesla is the most commonly used unit. Webers per meter square or Tesla. What is here AR cap? Where AR cap is equal to unit vector directed from vector ideal to point P. Mu equals permeability of the medium. Mu is equal to permeability of the medium and is given by mu naught into mu r. Where mu r is known as relative permeability of the medium and mu naught is permeability of free space. Permeability of a free space is a constant given by 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 henries per meter. So let me read out. Let a steady current equal to I ampere flow in a conductor as shown in the adjoining figure. Also let dl represent a small elemental length of the conductor. The product IdL is called current element in vector form. The magnetic flux density at point P is mu times IdL cross ER cap divided by 4 pi r square. This is not simple multiplication, it is vector multiplication, cross product. Therefore, make this into darker. Unit of vector dV is Webers per meter square at Tesla. Tesla is the most commonly used unit. AR cap is equal to unit vector directed from IdL to point P. Mu is equal to permeability of the medium and is equal to mu naught into mu r. Mu naught is called permeability of free space. Mu naught is equal to permeability of free space. Permeability of free space, and is a constant given by 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 henries per meter. Just like epsilon naught, it was 8.854 10 to the power minus 10 farads per meter. Here it is henries per meter. And mu r is equal to relative permeability of the medium. Relative permeability of the medium. Relative permeability of the medium. R is equal to distance between the current element and point P. So now how do you define A cross B? A cross B is equal to magnitude of vector A into magnitude of vector B into sine theta into A n cap, where theta is the angle between the vector A and vector B. A n cap is equal to unit vector perpendicular to the plane containing the vectors A and B. So I am going to apply this formula to this expression. In this expression, what is vector A? I vector dl. What is vector B? A r cap. We can write this, I call equation 1. We can write equation 1 as vector dB is equal to mu times magnitude of vector IdL, magnitude of vector A r cap, sine theta. This is the angle theta. Sine theta divided by 4 pi r square into A n cap. A n cap vector dB has got magnitude equal to dB, direction equal to A n cap, where A n cap is unit vector perpendicular to the plane containing the vectors IdL and A r cap, and theta is the angle between the vectors vector IdL and A r cap. I am going to pen it down. Where theta equals angle between the vectors IdL and A r cap. A n cap is equal to unit vector perpendicular to the plane containing the vectors IdL and A r cap. The direction of A n cap is determined using right hand rule. What is right hand rule? Close the fingers of your right hand from vector A to vector B. then thumb gives the direction of A n cap. What is vector A here? Vector A here is I into dl. And what is vector B? A r cap. The direction of, what is right hand rule? Just I am going to pen down the right hand rule. Right hand rule. Close the fingers of the right hand. Close the fingers of right hand from vector ideal towards A cap. Then thumb points in the direction of A n cap. In this case, correct? Close the fingers of your right hand from vector ideal to A r cap. That means you are going in which direction? From vector ideal to A r cap, clockwise direction. Close the fingers of your right hand in the clockwise direction. Thumb is into the board. Therefore, vector dv has got unit vector A n cap, which is into the board. Because if you close the fingers of your right hand from vector ideal to A r cap, you are closing the fingers in the clockwise direction, and hence thumb is into the board. So let me read out the right hand rule. The right hand rule says, close the fingers of the right hand from vector ideal towards A r cap. Then thumb points in the direction of A n cap. So this is the statement of right hand rule. So this is how we have found what is vector dv. This Biot-Savart's law is similar to Coulomb's law. The role of charge, point charge, is taken by the current element I into dl. Please note that. We define magnetic, before this is for, we have found what is vector dv. So what is the magnetic flux density due to entire conductor? For the current to flow, let us assume the conductor to be a closed conductor. The magnetic flux density. The magnetic flux density at point P due to a closed conductor is vector B is equal to contour integral C on vector dv. Contour integral C on vector dv. This means it's a closed conductor. The small circle on this integral means closed conductor. What is vector dv? You substitute. So it is what? Mu times vector ideal cross A r cap divided by 4 pi r square. Unit of this is Tesla. This is the magnetic flux density at point P due to a closed conductor. We now define magnetic field intensity by the expression given below. What is vector H? Vector H is equal to vector B divided by mu. This is like electric flux density. So if we remove mu from this expression, vector B becomes vector H. So it is nothing but contour integral C vector ideal cross A r cap divided by 4 pi r square. Unit of this is amperes per meter. This is the expression for magnetic field intensity. This is the expression for magnetic field intensity. This I will call equation 2. This I will call equation 3. The following relations exist. The following relations exist between the current elements. The following relations exist between the current elements. Vector ideal equals vector j dv equals vector k ds. See, vector, what is the unit of I is in amperes. What is dl? dl is in meters. So the product has the unit ampere meters. Vector j is current density, has the unit amperes per meter square. dv is elemental volume, has the unit meter cube. Amperes per meter square into meter cube gives you ampere meters. Vector k is in amperes per meter, known as surface current density, and ds is in meter square. So amperes per meter into meter square is again amperes per meter. So this is the relationship that exists between the current elements, where vector j is equal to current density in amperes per meter square, and vector k is equal to surface current density in amperes per meter. This I call equation number 4. This equation 4 I will now use in equation 2. Using equation 4 in equation 2 gives vector b is equal to, correct, this is contour integral. If you use this, contour integral will become volume integral, correct, mu I will take out, vector j cross ar cap divided by 4 pi r square dv. So the current element I into vector dl is replaced by vector j dv. This is equation 5. This is an alternate form of Biot-Savart's law. If you use this equation, vector k into ds in equation 2, what we get? Vector b is equal to mu times surface integral, correct, vector k cross ar cap divided by 4 pi r square ds. This is another form of Biot-Savart's law. These are alternate forms of Biot-Savart's law. Alternate forms of Biot-Savart's law. This much you have to write in the examination. This much you have to write in the examination for 6 months. So the question will be explain Biot-Savart's law. To explain Biot-Savart's law, this is what we have to do. So first explain it with respect to your current element, then extend it to volume and surface elements. This is how Biot-Savart's law is taught. Next I will go to applications of Biot-Savart's law. I hope you have followed Biot-Savart's law. It is similar to Coulomb's law. Next I will teach you applications of Biot-Savart's law, just like we did applications of Coulomb's law. There is a similarity between electrostatics and steady magnetic fields, correct? Please note the similarities when you progress through the course. So applications of Biot-Savart's law. Biot-Savart's law. First application, to find vector B at the center of a circular loop, at the center of a circular loop. So what I am going to do now is, I take a circular conductor. A circular conductor is called a circular loop. Midpoint of this is P. P is the point of interest. Let the current flow in the circular conductor in the clockwise direction. Okay. Next what I will do is, I will take a small elemental length. A small elemental length is vector dl. The midpoint of dl, I connect it to point P. Distance between midpoint of dl and point P is r. Unit vector, the direction of r is what? AR cap. The current is flowing, normally if the current is flowing in the clockwise direction, AL cap will be into the board. Close the fingers of your right hand in the clockwise direction, thumb is pointing inside. Or from vector DL to vector AR cap, you are moving which direction? Clockwise direction. Close the fingers of your right hand in the clockwise direction, then AN cap will be into the board. This is the direction of AN cap. So now I am going to say, let us consider a circular loop or a circular conductor. Loop and conductor mean, circular conductor is called a loop. Circular conductor of radius equal to capital R. Correct? Carrying a steady current, very important. Carrying steady current means DC current. Steady current equal to capital I. The magnetic flux density. The magnetic flux density at point P is the center of the loop. Point P is vector B is equal to contour integral C mu times vector ideal cross AR cap divided by 4 pi r square. So many Tesla. Now what is A cross B? Please remember, what is the cross product A cross B? Magnitude of vector A, magnitude of vector B into sine theta multiplied by unit vector AN cap. Here theta is 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees. Therefore, what happens if you apply this formula to this cross product? This implies vector B is equal to contour integral C, mu I take out, magnitude of the vector ideal, magnitude of AR cap, sin theta is sin 90 degrees divided by 4 pi r square into unit vector AN cap. Sin 90 degrees is 1. So this becomes now mu naught into I divided by 4 pi r square contour integral C vector contour integral C dl. If you keep on adding, if you keep on adding this elemental length dl, you will get the circumference of the circular conductor. So this is nothing but mu naught into I divided by 4 pi r square into 2 pi r. Again repeat. If you keep on adding this elemental lengths along the circumference of the conductor, you will get the circumference of the conductor, which is 2 pi r. So into AN cap. So this becomes what now? Mu naught into I divided by 2 pi r into 2r. Pi gets cancelled. 2r into AN cap. Unit of this is Tesla. If you want to find, I will assume this is mu, not mu naught, mu. Mu will be mu naught if it is free space. So mu only I will take. If the conductor is in free space, then mu will be replaced by mu naught. Okay. So this is the expression for magnetic flux density at the center of the circular conductor. situated in a medium having permeability equal to mu. If the same circular conductor is located in free space, then mu will be replaced by mu naught. So I am going to write now. If the circular loop is located in free space, then vector B is equal to mu naught into I divided by 2R into AN cap. So many tests now. Also, what is magnetic field intensity at point P? Vector H is equal to vector B by mu naught is equal to I divided by 2R into AN cap is the magnetic field intensity at the point P. This is the first application. We'll go to next application. Application number 2. To find vector B due to a straight conductor of length equal to 2L. To find vector B due to a straight conductor of length equal to 2L, carrying a steady current of capital I amperes. Very important topic. So I will take, let us say this is z-axis. Please what? This is z-axis. This is the origin. Let us take a conductor which I am showing in red color of length equal to 2L. The conductor is placed symmetrically with respect to origin. Therefore, this is Z equal to minus L, this is Z equal to plus L. Because length is 2L. Let me take a small elemental length dz. At a distance, midpoint of dz is at a distance z from the origin. P is the point of interest at a distance rho from the origin. P is equidistant from both ends of the conductor. P is located in a plane that bisects the conductor. What I mean by that is P is equidistant from both ends of the conductor. Distance from midpoint of dz to point P, distance from midpoint of dz to point P is R. So point P has the coordinates, point P has the coordinates rho 0, 0. So the current carried by the conductor is a steady current equal to I amperes. I am going to write now. Let the conductor be kept on z-axis symmetrically symmetrically with respect to origin. Symmetrically with respect to origin. With respect to origin. Next, I am going to find what is the magnetic flux density at point P. Let P be a point. Let P be a point on a plane bisecting the conductor. On a plane bisecting the conductor. Very important. That means point that is P is equidistant from both ends of the conductor. From both ends of the conductor. Both ends of the conductor. The magnetic flux density at point P is due to the entire conductor is vector B is equal to mu times integral vector ideal cross unit vector in this direction, unit vector in the direction of R is what? AR cap. Please note that AR cap is always directed from the current element towards the point of interest. Again repeat, AR cap always directed from the midpoint of DZ to the point of interest. AR cap divided by 4 pi r square. So many tests now. Since AR cap is equal to vector R divided by magnitude, we get vector B is equal to mu times integral vector ideal cross, instead of AR cap write this expression, vector R divided by 4 pi r cube. So many tests now. This I call equation 1. What I have done? AR cap I have replaced by vector R divided by its magnitude. Now I will construct a vector diagram here. This is the midpoint. This is the midpoint of DZ. This is the origin. This is the vector. What is vector? Z into AZ cap. This is point P. What is the vector in this? What is this vector? Rho into A rho cap. What is this vector? This vector is vector R. What is vector R? It has got magnitude equal to R, direction equal to AR cap. This is the vector diagram. From the vector diagram, see here which is the resultant? See, this is the resultant because the resultant has to start on the initial point of a vector. If you take the vector, this is the initial point, and it has to end on final point of a vector. So which is the resultant? See, resultant, this is the resultant. This is the resultant because this is the initial point of this vector and this is the final point of this vector. So resultant always has to start on the initial point of one vector and it has to terminate on the final point of another vector. This is the resultant which I am showing hash because this is the initial point of this vector and this is the final point of this vector. From the vector diagram, I can write rho into A rho cap is equal to z into az cap plus vector r. This implies vector r is equal to rho into a rho cap minus z into az cap. And what is magnitude of this vector? Magnitude of this vector is root of rho square plus z square. Next step is to evaluate. Next step is to evaluate vector dl cross vector r. What is vector dl? Vector dl is nothing but dz into az cap, because the current element is located on z axis. Therefore, vector dl has got magnitude dz, direction given by az cap. So, vector dl cross vector r is equal to vector dl is dz into az cap cross vector r. Vector r is what written here? Rho into a rho cap minus z into what? Az cap. Next we have to evaluate the cross products. Let me draw three mutually perpendicular vectors, a rho cap, a phi cap and az cap. See, az cap cross a rho cap, az cap cross a rho cap. You are moving from az cap to a rho cap. In which direction? You are moving in the anti-clockwise direction. Any movement in the anti-clockwise direction will give a positive unit vector perpendicular to az cap and a rho cap. So what I mean is az cap cross a rho cap is equal to a phi cap, because from az cap to a rho cap you are moving in the anti-clockwise direction. So here you have got az cap cross a rho cap. So what you get here? Rho into dz, az cap cross a rho cap is what? A phi cap. Az cap cross az cap is 0. So this is vector dl cross r. This I call equation number 2. This I call equation number 3. I will now substitute equations 2 and 3 in equation 1. Substituting equations 2 and 3 in equation 1 gives vector b is equal to mu times I. Vector dl cross vector r is what? Is nothing but rho into dz into az cap, rho into dz into a phi cap divided by 4 pi. What is r? Square root of rho square plus z square. Substitute for r cube. In r cube expression you substitute r. So what you get? You get rho square plus z square, rho square plus z square to the power 3 by 2. This is what you get when you substitute equations 2 and equations this is 3. Equations 2 and 3 in equation 1. Now limits for z is from minus L to plus L. So remember, now we have to remember the standard integral. Look at the complexities. If you don't practice, you get stuck in the examination. Please practice. Recall the standard integral. Recall the standard integral. Recall the standard integral. Integral dz divided by z square plus z square plus a square to the power 3 by 2 equal to z divided by a square into root of z square plus a square. This I have used once by teaching you the infinite line charge in electrostatics. Here instead of A, it is rho. That's all the difference. So you get what now? You get, hence, vector B is equal to mu into I into rho divided by 4 pi multiplied by z divided by rho square into root of z square plus rho square. Limit z taking values from minus L to plus L into A phi cap. Now put the limits for z. Put the limits for z. If you put the limits for z, you get, this is mu into I, rho by rho square is 1 by rho. So 4 pi rho. Put limits now. If you put the upper limit, you get L divided by root of L square plus rho square. If you put the lower limit, you get plus L divided by root of L square plus rho square multiplied by unit vector A phi cap. So this is nothing but mu into I divided by 4 pi rho into 2L divided by root of L square plus rho square multiplied by A phi cap. So this becomes now mu into I into L divided by 2 pi rho into root of rho square plus L square into A phi cap. So many Tesla. This is the expression for magnetic flux density at point P due to a straight conductor of length equal to 2L carrying a steady current of I amperes. If the conductor is of infinite length, then magnetic flux density at point P is obtained by taking the limit L tending to infinity. By taking the limit L tending to infinity. What I mean is, magnetic flux density at point P due to an infinitely long straight conductor. I put the suffix infinity to show that the conductor is of infinite length. It is nothing but limit n tending to infinity on vector B equals limit n tending to infinity. What is vector B? Vector B is mu into I into L divided by 2 pi rho into root of rho square plus L square into A phi cap. L tends to infinity, that means L is very large. Therefore, neglect rho. So what you get? Limit L tending to infinity mu into I into L by 2 pi rho into L square. I have neglected rho square in comparison to L square. So L divided by root of L square cancels out. So you get mu into I divided by 2 pi rho. So many Teslas. This is the expression for magnetic flux density at point P due to a straight conductor of infinite length. Straight conductor of infinite length. If you want H infinity, what you have to do? Also, magnetic field intensity at point P due to infinitely long straight conductor is vector B infinity divided by mu. So that gives you the expression I divided by 2 pi rho into A phi cap. This unit vector, please don't forget, because magnetic field intensity is a vector, magnetic flux density is a vector. Unit of vector H is amperes per meter. This is the expression for magnetic field intensity at point P due to an infinitely long straight conductor kept on z-axis. Please note that point P is equidistant from both ends of the conductor. When point P is not equidistant from both ends of the conductor, this expression is invalid. Please note that. And what happens when P is asymmetric with respect to both ends we'll consider next. Thank you.